اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في
Bismillah. You have a story from Hazrat Musa.
I have a question from his history. So, when we read about Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, the Bani Israel, they were his own nation, and they were his same people, and they were following him. And even after they were saved and the miracle happened with the sea splitting, they were still afterwards rebellious to him. They worshipped something else. They were even questioning him. But with the magicians, that he showed one power from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they immediately accepted him and believed in him. And even afterwards,
With the magicians?
the magicians, when they had the contest, or I don't know if that's the right word to use, but the
contest?
challenge, when they had the challenge
The challenge of the canes.
of the
Or the magicians accepted Hazrat Musa.
the magicians accepted him. They were not from his people,
Right.
and they were ready to die right after. And
Right.
they got crucified immediately
Right.
afterwards. So what's the difference between the hearts of those people, and how did they have that level of certainty from one right away, even from one thing, but the others, they didn't have that?
Well, some people, they are more stubborn than others. That's it. Musa alayhi salam, he is saying, even in their own books, he's saying, complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what am I to do with these proud and stiff-necked people? Proud and stiff-necked. I didn't say that. Musa alayhi salam said that. Showing. Some people they are, some people they are not. Showing also, sometimes the people who are going to accept the message of the prophets, sometimes, and we are looking with the life of the Holy Prophet, ﷺ, they're not the people from his own people too. Not sometimes. Let's say Musa alayhi salam now. Those ones accept. They're not from his people. They're not from his family. You look at the Holy Prophet ﷺ, there are people from his family who reject that, and they go so far as not only to reject, but to try to destroy him and those who are around him. Those who accept it, majority of them, they're not from his family, they're belonging to other tribes. And one of the reasons why even those ones from Hazrat Musa who was living there, they reject him because they said most of his people, they are poor and they are from the lower level of society. But that's one of the signs of prophethood, that even Heraclius was asking Abu Sufyan when he said, are most of them, his followers, who are? They are the lower level people. They are the slaves and the orphans and those ones that the rejects of society. And Heraclius is saying that's one of the signs of prophethood. Most of their followers are going to be. Meaning not from their own, level. Because when you look at so many prophets, their level, their social standing in that society is pretty high, you know. It is high. No one is really talking about that because everyone is in love with democracy, hypocrisy. But they're pretty high. Musa alayhi salam, Daud alayhi salam, Sulaiman alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, he comes from an honorable lineage. The aristocracy. Yes? But the majority of those ones who are following these, not from that aristocratic level too, because so many people from that level, they are very proud. They have knowledge and they have money. They think they know everything. They're the first ones to reject any truth that is coming to them. And the majority of the people, especially initially, who they're going to accept, either the people who are very poor, lower level of society, simple people who understand, who is not letting their ego, because their ego cannot be so much controlling them. They have nothing. They have nothing. Or the people that is outside from their social circle or outside of their tribes, or even not from their own people. not from their own people. So, this is one of the characteristics. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting that for us, everyone, not only for the Arabs, not only for the Bani Israel, not only for the Jews or the Christians, not only for the Ajams, for everyone to take lesson from. Because that characteristic of stubbornness is inside all of them. And that characteristic is not from our spirit, it is coming from Shaitan. Stubbornness is coming from him. And there are ways to deal with that stubbornness. And usually the way to deal with that stubbornness is to have an authority over you. Either you have an authority over it, or someone else is going to have authority over you. Because a stubbornness is also not going to understand so much from the language of zikr, or the language of prayers, or the language, nice language to you, you know. It's not. You're not going to listen. So you have to have contempt on your ego. Understand first what it is. So that kind of stubbornness. But you see, majority of the people, let's say the Muslims in the world right now, they're not coming from the people of the Prophet ﷺ. In fact, that's what confuses a lot of non-Muslims. They think all the Muslims are Arabs, for example. So it is a lesson for us, and it's a special lesson for the Akhir Zaman. Meaning, don't be so proud of your race. Don't be so proud of your nationality. Don't be so proud of your language. Don't be so proud that you come from this lineage or that race or that tribe or this or that. Don't be so proud. Because if you don't have control over it, all those things are going to work against you. All those things, they are going to handicap you. In fact, those ones who are completely different culture, tribe, language, and everything, they are going to be better followers to Haqq than those ones who are connected to the Prophets. When you don't step on your ego, when you use that to be proud. Because the stubbornness is coming from pride. Stubbornness is coming from pride. What have you got to be proud of? This is the point. What have you got to be proud of? If anyone has a reason to be proud of something, to be happy about something, to be proud of something, they are the ones, the prophets, because Allah loves them most. Yes? Yet we don't see one single one of them who are like that. In fact, the awliya Allah, Sahib al-Sahib is telling the story about how Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam was traveling with his city, flying through the air. All these stupid stories about flying carpets or this. It's not that. His city, not his court. His court is a city, you understand? Today, they say how it can happen. Air Force One, Shaykh Effendi is saying that's a whole city. That's a whole Washington that is flying together with the president. And he was flying, and Shaykh Effendi is saying, for a split second, his heart not feeling proud, but feeling the majesty. Because Allah has given him so much power over the winds, not over the winds like this, over those forces of nature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, that today people are running to say alien, malian, all these kinds of things. You understand? So he was feeling that a little bit, just feeling that a little bit of that majesty, everything just whoop, came down again. The whole city that was flying like lost its control and looked as if about to crash just for a split second, warning him. So they are not proud. They have every reason to be proud. They are not. Holy Prophet ﷺ, he was the most beloved one. He is not. His Ahlul Bayt, they are the most beloved ones in that generation are the children of the prophets. They are not. They are the most humble ones. So what have we got to be proud of? They have reasons. We don't have reason. What have we got to be proud of? If you have nothing to be proud of, you cannot be humble. It is impossible. I mean, you cannot be proud. It is impossible. And you cannot be stubborn. It is impossible. You cannot be stubborn. then you're going to look at every angle because you're not proud of what you have, whether it's knowledge or lineage, whether it is skills or anything that comes to you, riches. You're not proud of it because you say it doesn't belong to me. This is the thing. Everything belongs not to you, to Allah. We're saying, Ya Malikul Mulk. You're really believing it. It doesn't. I'm a caretaker. I'm the one who's going to take care of it. It is an amanat for me. So when you start doing that, you don't have an attachment to things. You like, you take care of it, it's gone, it's gone. It doesn't pass through your heart, it is in your hands. That time the whole dominions can be given to you, but you are not attached to it. It can come from one hand, it goes to the other. It needs to pass. So you're not going to be stubborn too. You cannot be because it doesn't belong. That knowledge also doesn't belong to you. You always, okay, let's look at this other. Let's look. You consider everything. When you do that, you have intelligence. And when there is intelligence, there is faith. How, with that faith and with that intelligence, you're not going to have modesty? How are you not going to have modesty? So those magicians, they're intelligent. That they understand now. Whatever happened, when it is shown to them in that miracle of the canes, they understood. Awliya Allah saying anyway, it's not just like you see in the movie. They're showing Musa alayhi salam like this actor. They're showing this, they're showing that. They're showing Shu'aib alayhi salam's daughter coming and dancing. Everyone's saying, wow, mashallah, what a good movie it is. They're showing a prophet's daughters dancing in front of a strange man. Anyway, it's not like one snake just coming and the cane just become a snake swallow. It is something that is unusual and something that is huge. Because that snake, the cane that turned into that, it was so big, it was going to swallow the Firaun that was sitting on his throne. It opened. And Shaykh Effendi is saying Firaun was so proud because he was able to step on his ego for the sake of his ego. Step on his ego for the sake of batil, not for the sake of haqq. You can step in your ego, yes, you can. You can control, you can have discipline. You can. You can have discipline and you can train yourself to walk on water. Or to have some kind of martial arts things. Not like that one, flying from one bamboo to another. No, it doesn't happen like that. People watch too many movies. But you have discipline. You can train your body, you can train your mind. You have discipline, you can step on your ego, but for what you're using it for? That's another point. You can use it for haqq, you can use it for batil. So this one, the Firaun, he was being so proud because Shaykh Effendi is saying he was going to the bathroom once in every 40 days. That's why he was so proud. He was able to control himself. Meaning he was able to control what goes in and how it's processed. It's no small feat. Because the people who don't need to go to the bathrooms are the people of paradise. Right? They don't have any dirtiness coming out from them. But he was using it for what? To make everyone to worship him. To worship him. But because a snake now, when the cane of Musa alayhi salam turned to the snake and it opened his jaws wide to swallow him in his throne. And he wasn't sitting on a chair like this. People saying, why are you sitting on there? I said, it's a chair. You can get your own chair. It's not a throne. But that one who's saying he's the highest Lord, he's so huge. He's sitting like on top of a mountain. That is his throne. And the snake was so big, it was going to swallow him. Shaykh Effendi said, that time, that day, he went to the bathroom 40 times a day. So when those ones, they see it, they pull back. They pulled back. Then they became shy. They know what is tricks and they know what is haqq. Because that was what was coming from Musa alayhi salam. It was a mujizat. It was not a trick. It was not an illusion. Today they train generations already to consider these kinds of tricks, or even to consider sihr to be popular, to be acceptable. It's not evil, it's something cool, acceptable. You even want to be, you train the younger generations, you want to be popular, you're going to be like these evil ones. Men and women. They've already prepared everyone so that when that one-eyed one comes and opens all these wrong things, everyone is going to follow because they've been prepared, they've been groomed already. Used to be, especially in this country, just a few hundred years ago in this country, somebody who's able to cure someone using some plants that they gather here and there, they say he's a witch. She's a witch, right? And they burn them, especially where you grow up. Where you grow up? Huh? Astaghfirullah. Yeah, that place there. So, just a couple of hundred years ago, any knowledge that is not from their understanding, their kind of Christian Wahhabi understanding, they say this is coming from the devil. And then they will burn them. A few hundred years later, their children, their grandchildren are running around with this shaitanic culture, and it's normal. How the world has turned. So, don't act entitled. Don't think you are someone. Those ones, why are they proud? Why are they proud? That's another question. Why are those ones following Musa alayhi salam? Why are they proud? Do you know why? Why are they proud and why are they stubborn? We already said you're stubborn because you have something to be proud about, yes? Why are they proud? Huh? They were the chosen ones. And they thought it's forever. No, there's an agreement. We always talk about agreement. You break the contract, you lose. Allah can give it to someone else. There's a problem. Same thing with Muslims. If Muslims lose this, if Muslims are saying, okay, they know they are not, we are. Everyone now, we are. And for a time we were. We pass our limits, Allah will give that authority to someone else too. That is ayat. Allah gives authority to whom He wills. Yes? And now this authority is given to Batil now. Not just because Allah randomly choose one day like this, one day like this. No. There are certain things that the ummah themselves, what have we done that Allah is removing this rahmat from us, this protection from us, this honor from us, and is giving it to someone else? We have done something. If you're walking on the street, you're walking on the road, you trip, everyone turns back to see how you have tripped. What is it? Is it a rock? Is it a twig? My shoelaces, they catch one to the other. This country, this nation, this Muslims have been tripping and falling for a long time now. Yet people are not understanding why. They're saying, oh, because of this, because of that, we're no longer following Sunnah, this and what, and then what, and then what. There's something very specific. There is something very specific. When that nation tripped so many times, yes? The Jews, they tripped so many times. They had prophets too. What did the Quran say? They went to their prophets to ask. Did they go to their prophets to ask for it to be restored to them without any condition? Did they ask their prophets? They could have gone to Allah, by the way. They could have gone to Allah. But they went to their prophets because they are also intelligent, of course. They know our words are not going to reach to Allah so much. We are not the beloveds of Allah. Their prophets are. They're smart in that way. And they are jealous because of that too. Because they say, no, we believe in La ilaha illallah. All the rest of the prophets, no, we want to be. But when the prophets are there and they understood the power that the prophets have, the power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has and can grant to their prophets, what did they ask for? They asked for a king. They asked for a king. So, Allah forgive us. We don't know what to ask. We should take lesson, inshallah. Wa min Allahu tawfiq al-Fatiha.